it's a playoff game, even though, it disappears into the ether, as we all know. There's no record of it, but it's a playoff game. And, I tried to downplay it a little bit before the game, but we desperately needed to win this game and get 4 days. Our guys have been basically playing knockout games for about 3 weeks, and one high-level game after another. And so to get this one, took 83 games, but we're right where we want to be, which is back in the playoffs, and we've got a chance. But maybe most importantly, we get the time to rest and prepare, because these guys need that desperately right now. And 18 shots from the foul line. That's just who Jimmy is. He controls games. That's why he is who he is. He's able to, in these big moments, these big games, he just settles you down constantly.
Could you sense that he knew early if they were going to, if that was the scheme they were going to use, he was going to need to kind of.
If that was, I'm sorry.
If that was the scheme they were going to use, that he would need to kind of down the score.
We talked about it at shoot around this morning. We anticipated that matchup, and he just told me, I don't care who guards me, just give me space, give me the ball, I'll make something happen. And that's the beauty of Jimmy. You guys can see it. Like we have morphed into a different team. We've got the movement and the flow of Steph, but we've also become, for half the game, a great ISO team. We've never been an ISO team here, and there's great advantage to that. To be able to get to the line, to be able to generate offense without, having to fly around and set a million screens. So Jimmy has completely changed everything for us since he's been here, and tonight was a great example of that.
They are used to 30-point performances in big games from Steph Curry, but they traded for Jimmy Butler for moments like these, and he delivered. 38 points to be exact. How dangerous are the Warriors with this duo?
The Warriors are very dangerous, and yes, Jimmy Butler has given life to Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. And again, a much-needed win so that they could get rest. We know what Jimmy Butler brings to the table offensively. I thought he did a great job tonight. First, second, third quarter, when Steph really didn't have it going, getting it going, making sure the team staying engaged, staying aggressive, and then all of a sudden he let Steph take it home in the fourth. But I will say this. I got the Warriors, right, as the second best team in the Western Conference, and they're facing this young Houston Rockets team. They better strap their damn boots up, because Ime Udoka, who I voted for as Coach of the Year, he got those young boys ready. Defensively, they're athletic as hell, and I'm praying that Steve Kerr put his pride aside and go to the young fella, Jonathan Kuminga, because I believe the Warriors are going to need his athleticism in this series against the Houston Rockets. This series is going 6 or 7 games. I haven't decided just yet. I got Golden State winning, but the Rockets are ready, and they're ready for war.
Well, it's a good thing they get a little bit of rest before that, but you're spot on there, Perk. Meanwhile, Memphis put up a fight despite the injury to John Morant. Now the Grizzlies have to lick their wounds before facing the winner of the Mavericks and Kings. If Morant isn't 100%, how will Memphis pick up the slack, Perk?
Who's their all-star, MJ? It's Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, it's time for him to elevate his game. I can't tell you how many times I was yelling at the screen tonight for him to be aggressive, for him to play with more force, right? We know he's skilled. We know he can shoot the tray ball, but I want to see him go to the low block. I want to see him punish people more down there. And not knowing how John Morant is going to be, we know he's not going to be 100%. Jaren Jackson Jr. has to elevate his game on both ends of the floor, because he did just win Defensive Player of the Year a couple seasons ago, and he got to stop picking up those silly fouls. It is so frustrating, but they're going to need him now more than ever to elevate his game to help the Grizzlies get to the post.
Including going 13-13 from the free throw line, and the Warriors will take on the Houston Rockets Sunday in a best-of-7 first-round series and get some rest here as we welcome everybody to Toyota Warriors Postgame Live with the Hall of Famer Chris Bullen, NBA champion Festus Ezeli. I am Bonte Hill. What a game. Grizzlies come all the way back, but the Warriors make the right plays at the right time. Great shot making by their 2 stars.
Bonte, the Warriors are not 0-4 in the play-in anymore. We going to the playoffs, baby. tonight you got the Warriors. They got a heavy dose of Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry. The Grizzlies tonight were fighting them off, but Steph and Jimmy were just too much. 75 of the 121 points for the Warriors. They're just trying to fight back against a young Grizzlies team. Desmond Bane was fighting. Ja Morant came back from an injury, was fighting, but it was just too much for the Grizzlies tonight.
Jimmy Butler was amazing all night long. First half, 20 points. Fourth quarter, Steph Curry dominated, made all the big shots. The Warriors went to a lot of isolation plays, but they made all the big plays they need to make. Give Memphis credit. They, like you said, Bonta, they came back from a 20-point deficit, made a great game. These are back-to-back incredible performances by the Warriors. Big-time NBA basketball the last 2 nights here at Chase.
And the Warriors snapped their 3-game home losing streak, and they won't have to play Friday against the loser of Dallas and Sacramento. So now 1-3 in their play-in history. And, of course, they go 28-34 from the free throw line. And Quentin Poole, how about him? With 9 big points in the first half, 12 overall. He's standing by with the great KB inside the Chase Center.
Quentin, this is the first time this franchise has won a play-in game. What did you guys talk about in the locker room of the importance of getting it done tonight?
The biggest thing was just 50-50 balls. 2 nights ago versus the Clippers, we let go of a lot of 50-50 balls. So everything was just about winning every single battle. And we definitely did tonight.
Jimmy Butler scored 38 points, the most he scored all season. How does he take over games?
I mean, Jimmy can just get to the paint whenever he wants. And then, I guess, during the regular season, he chooses to kick out. And last 2 games, he's been looking to go for himself a little more and working out.
You had some big moments stepping in for Draymond when he had 5 fouls, 3 threes, 5 rebounds. What were you thinking playing in a game of this magnitude?
Like I said earlier, just those 50-50 balls, hustling, try to get every ball, and then shoot the ball when I'm open.
You guys are the 7th seed. You'll play this weekend. What is the importance of a few days rest?
You know, we wish we would have got a few more, but yeah, it's great to get up our feet and have some time to prepare for the next opponent.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so it was 94-90 going into the fourth quarter as the Grizzlies crawled back from a 20-point deficit, and they started rolling there. Desmond Bane was red hot, but the crunch time tape was very fun as there was a lot of fouls, but Jimmy Butler made some big shots as we pick it up at the 4-minute mark. And Jimmy Butler scored 21 of his 38 in the first half. Really, he's a great isolation player. You see the pull-up jumper over Desmond Bane right there to give the Warriors a 3-point lead, Mully.
Yeah, nice pull-up there, nice patience by Jimmy Butler. As Quentin Poole just said, Jimmy Butler consistently getting into the paint, open up an opportunity there for a nice little drop-off by Draymond and Steph Curry for a corner 3.
Now, Steph had to get that thumb, Spez. He started to cut you off there, re-wrapped there as he got whacked on that thumb. He was in visible pain, but huge back-to-back threes, a flyby right there over Scottie Pippen Jr. to give the Warriors a commanding 6-point lead.
Is that a night-night? This is a night-night moment
Not
right
yet.
here?
Not in the play.
Too early. Steph Curry right there was phenomenal, especially down the stretch. This is a different type of game, different pace. Really a lot of ISO towards the end, but Steph's still finding a way to get a shot at the end.
No doubt about that. 37 points for Steph, Mully.
Incredible composure there with the double pump fake and just faking.
Tough foul.
And Draymond Green fouls out right here, committing to foul about 48 feet away from the basket. Remember, the Warriors wasted a challenge at the 6-minute mark.
This is a tough foul.
And that was a tough foul on
That's
Brendan
a block.
Podziemski.
What are we talking about?
Hustling on the defensive end. The whistles got a little hectic at the end of the game, wouldn't you say?
Makeup calls always getting you in trouble.
I think, I don't even know if this is getting flustered or what, but you got to call what you see.
And right here, this was a strange foul on Kevon Looney.
You got to call what you see.
I thought it was a jump ball, Fezzi.
What happens if you don't see anything?
If you don't see anything, then hold your whistle.
Well, Zach Edey
Come on,
gets
man.
two free throws.
It's not a foul.
I've been telling you
Great
guys
job
about
by
these.
Moody.
I would love to rewind this play right here. The Grizzlies get called for a 5-second violation with 5.4 seconds left on the clock. If we could run it back, I would love to count. Somebody have a stopwatch out there. Still was the sketchiest 5-second violation, but you know what? The Dubs will take it. We'll take the days off, and they'll take on the Rockets Sunday in a first-round series. What a fun basketball game. Again, Jimmy, 38-7-6. Steph with 37-8-4. And they finally get rid of that O in their play-in record to advance to the first round of the playoffs, Fezzi.
Well, you know the reason why they interviewed Quentin Post is during that stretch when Draymond went out the game, Quentin Post held it down. He was rebounding the ball, hit some really big timely shots for the Warriors when they were struggling to have guys involved in the game. This was really one of those games where you kind of scrap whatever the game plan is. You got to find a way to get a bucket. You got to go get the loose balls. The Warriors did a lot of that going against the bigger Memphis Grizzlies tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned another great performance by the Warriors, and these were back-to-back playoff games. And not by coincidence, Jimmy Butler, 20 field goal attempts again. So playoff Jimmy is in full effect now. It's kicked in.
Back-to-back 20 field goal attempts. What did you think about the 5-second violation there, Bully?
I mean, you had just so you said it was like 3.5.
What's the time?
Look, they change the rules so often in the NBA. Maybe they changed that. I don't know. Like every time I say something, I'm outdated. So I mean, leave me out of it.
You did say you were a
I'm a
senior
senior citizen. No disrespect to senior citizens, but I may be a little out of whack right now.
I think I counted 3.5 seconds, but listen, we're going to Houston.
Houston, you may have a problem on your hands.
Sometimes you got to do whatever it takes to get your first play-in victory to move on to the 7th seed. Houston, now you have a problem.
No doubt about that, but you mentioned Jimmy Butler's 20 field goal attempts. Let's pick it up there because he really carried the Warriors in that first half and got them off to a great start as they jumped out to a 20-point lead midway through the second quarter. 21 of his 38 in the first half, 12 of 20 from the floor, 12 of 18 for the free throw line. The only knock on his game is he missed 6 free throws. He missed 5 the entire month of April, Fezzi.
Walter, you're greedy. What?
I'm not greedy.
He got 38. 18 free throws. He made 12.
And he came off a game where he played 48 minutes with a thigh bruise. And Bonte, we mentioned, you and I both said, playing big against Jimmy Butler is the way to go. I'm not quite sure playing extra big on him is the way to go. So he knocked down some threes in the first half. Zach Giddey was matched up to him, laying way off of Jimmy. He knocked down a few threes, and then he had him both ways. They started attacking him off the dribble.
I'm just saying, Fez, he would have had a 40-burger. We don't see Jimmy miss that many free throws.
40-burger's coming.
It's coming. Playoff Jimmy was in full effect.
I thought it was phenomenal watching Jimmy, especially when the team was struggling offensively. They just played through Jimmy, put it in his hands, let him get into the paint. He either gets a score, gets a foul, or then they start to find ways to make plays to get Steph open. So I thought Jimmy was huge to this win tonight.
And it's a little different style, Fest, as you mentioned earlier, the isolation where the shot clock gets run down pretty late. But I think Jimmy Butler's got so much confidence in himself that he's either going to draw a foul, get himself a shot, or find a teammate late in that clock. Steph Curry took over in the fourth quarter, was dominant. But Jimmy did a lot of work early and also finding, creating shots for his teammates.
Those 18 free throws were huge for the Warriors. On the night where you're struggling and other guys around the team are struggling, it just feels like each time you get to stop to shoot a free throw, you're also getting a break. Jimmy Butler played 39 minutes tonight. This is what he's doing for the team in the offense right now.
Not only a break, but we mentioned pregame how this Grizzlies team, one of the fastest-paced teams in the league, so those free throws let you set your defense. It's one less time the Memphis Grizzlies are out in transition.
And they were pushing, especially in the third quarter when they outscored the Dubs 36-27. But Jimmy Butler there setting things up, and those open threes he's creating for his teammates that are going to be there in that Houston series, Fezzi.
Well, whenever you have a game in the playoffs, it's going to be choppy. At times, the Houston Rockets just did that last week. So that's something you're going to be able to play off of, having Jimmy Butler when Steph Curry's not on the floor, having Jimmy be the focal point for the Warriors. That's going to be huge as the playoffs go along.
I think these last 2 games have been great preparation for the Houston Rockets. The Clippers played a slower style. This game tonight a little faster style, but both very physical. And we know the Houston Rockets are a very physical defensive team. They're not the best offensive team. And with Dylan Brooks, it's going to be a physical, dynamic matchup.
No doubt. All right, let's pick up the Steph Curry tape because he had that big bandage on his right thumb, heavily taped, and he had to get it retaped in the fourth quarter as he was visibly shaken by that right thumb. And that's something to monitor moving forward here as we get into the Western Conference playoffs. But Steph was masterful, especially in the second half. 6 of 13 from the three-point line. And what do you know? He got to the free throw line 13 times, nailed all the clutch free throws, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 37 points as he prepares for Thompson and Dylan Brooks, Mully.
Yeah, I thought tonight a good balance. Obviously, the 13 free throws helps out big time. And I thought Steph got a few good calls. Pippen was holding him a lot, moving out the basketball, so that loosened things up for him. But I like the balanced attack. We saw him off the dribble. We saw the catch-and-shoot game. We saw him transition a little bit. So total balance, incredible fourth-quarter performance by Steph.
I mean, it's just incredible he continues to do this with his hand being the main focal point. Like, we've talked a lot about Steph Curry's hand. You know who else is hearing this? The other team. So you're also hitting it. You're trying to be physical with Steph, and he's still finding ways to get it. The ball's a lot in his left hand, trying to get away from that injury, but Steph is still hitting shots at time.
Yeah, and I think, both Steph, Jimmy Butler, and even Draymond, they could use these days off to get some rest and recovery to prepare for the Rockets.
All right, let's check out the matchup between the Rockets. Of course, they met 5 times this season because they had the 1 extra game in the Emirates NBA Cup, which Houston won 94-90. And all these games against Houston were down to the wire. You see the points per game really low for the Golden State Warriors, averaging just over 103 points per game. They did win 3 to 5 matchups, shot 43% from the floor. But we saw that last game, Fezzi, where the Rockets won by 10, really slowed the pace down.
Well, the Houston Rockets struggle to score. And for the Warriors, that is to their advantage, but you can't play the slow ISO game against Houston. You're going to be playing into their hands. The Warriors got to get in transition. You got to get stops, rebounds, take care of the ball. All those things are going to be really important in that series. But most importantly, you have to move. Guys have to move. This is why Steve Kerr, they have this week off. They're going to have to get back in the gym, practice, get ready to run those counters for when they're being super physical with Steph.
Yeah, looking at those numbers, that's definitely Houston Rockets pace there. So like tonight, I think the Warriors, it's going to be a big-time focus to get off to a good start. As Fezzi said, take care of the basketball. This is a young, athletic, dynamic Houston Rocket team defensively. They do struggle to score the ball, but if you give them extra possessions, they get their confidence going pretty good. They can make shots when they get in rhythm. Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks can make threes. Jabari Smith Jr. can make some threes. And you know what we're going to see defensively. Amen Thompson is picking up Steph Curry already.
94
But
feet.
I thought last game, and this is not an excuse, I thought the fact, I thought the Warriors would come off a brutal road trip. I thought there was some fatigue involved. But I give all the credit to Amen Thompson's defense. But Steph didn't handle the ball much that game. Remember, we looked into that. The previous three where he dominated, he had 52, 36, 37. He had his ball in his hands 7 or 8 minutes. That Houston Rockets game, just 3 minutes. And what they did, they got it out of his hands. He didn't get it back. So the multiple efforts to get Steph involved was not involved in that game. So I think the Warriors have to speed the pace up and then take care of the basketball. And then I think with Jimmy controlling the half-court offense, this is going to be a great series.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath against the Rockets. Remember that before that last game, the Warriors had held the Rockets to under 100 points in the previous 3 matchups, so they were playing good defense on them. Jalen Green really struggled against the Warriors up into that last game, so you got to worry about him at the point of attack. And Jabari Smith Jr., do not sleep on him coming off that bench.
All right, Bonte, can we take a second right now to just appreciate the fact that we're back in the playoffs? It's been a minute. I'm excited about this.
Yes.
So, yes, we're going to go against the Houston Rockets, but let's appreciate this game first. This was a heck of a game. Going against the young Memphis Grizzlies, they really battled it out. They were a bigger team. You had Zach Edey at 7'2" in the middle of the paint. Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama, all these big players. The Warriors small ball line was able to thrive in the middle of the paint. They got all the loose balls, and these are all the things you need to do against the Houston Rockets if you want to get that win.
So, as you all know, the Golden State Warriors got it done, and they shocked the rest of the NBA because they actually beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-ins, and we all know Memphis Grizzlies had some previous rivalries with the Golden State Warriors. So it was a fantastic game overall. Now, just taking you through, pretty much what happened, we saw absolute dominance from the Golden State Warriors throughout the whole game. Now, there were times where Golden State Warriors did take a lead. Now, it did come down to the wire eventually, only winning 121-116. But some of the big matchups that we did definitely see is definitely from Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry. Now, Jimmy Butler played absolutely fantastic in this game because he had 38 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, and he actually really did start off the game very, very strong, not only on the offensive side of things, but on the defensive side of things as well. And that was fantastic to see. I think Jimmy Butler has definitely added a new level of, that playoff mentality to this team. They have definitely had a huge, huge upgrade ever since this trade, and you definitely are starting to see it, especially this playoff time. Now, when we look at Jimmy Butler, not only did he do a fantastic job scoring, but he also went 12 from 20, so very efficient, 2 from 4 from the three-point line, and went 12 from 18 from the free throw line as well. So he did a fantastic job overall, but when it comes to actually, Jimmy Butler as well, what he did do fantastically was definitely on the defensive side of things. Now, obviously, there are really no sort of strategies when it comes to how to play great defense. It really is just in Jimmy Butler to play all around great defense, whether it was him switching, whether it was him helping on defense, or just leading that defensive charge at times. So Jimmy Butler just did a fantastic job. He did a great job as well at just leading the floor when times were tough. Maybe Curry wasn't hitting shots, Draymond weren't hitting shots, and all that at certain times. But in saying that, Steph Curry did not have a bad game. He also had himself a matchup because he had 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. So he did a fantastic job as well. And as we all know, Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry combined for 75 points. So they played absolutely out of their mind as a duo, and they definitely got it done. Now, Steph also went a great field goal percentage and went 9 from 22, so very decent there. Went 6 from 13 from the three-point line as well, and then went 13 from the free throw line. So he did honestly such a great job throughout the whole game. He also, iced the game with a couple of free throws just to send them into a more winning position. And it was great to see Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler really team up on this one and showcase their talent. Now, the Golden State Warriors are in a very good position because they do face off against the Houston Rockets coming into this playoffs. Now, I think that is probably the most favorable matchup for him due to the fact that Houston don't have a lot of playoff experience. Yes, Houston have done a great job during the season. They have played very, very well, but a big issue there is that when it comes to Houston Rockets, they have, pretty much no playoff experience at all. It is a very different ball game in playoffs, and you're going up against a championship roster like Curry, also someone who's made it to the finals multiple times in Jimmy Butler. So there's definitely a lot to it than more things. So for that reason, it is definitely going to be a very exciting matchup between these two. But what we also do see is that the Golden State Warriors have been shooting just great lately. We saw that in this most recent game. But I do believe Jimmy Butler does add that extra depth that is definitely needed. Now, looking at their percentages as a team, some notable notable sort of games I would say was Quinton Post having 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Draymond also had 10 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 points. But a great thing about this is that they shot 82% from the free throw line, 34% from the 3, which was great, and then a field goal percentage of 45%. So they did a fantastic job all around, and I definitely see that having a huge plus coming into this next matchup, no doubt about it. So, for Golden State Warriors, it is definitely going to look very, very good. They can definitely get it done and continue to push forward. And I think definitely against Houston Rockets, they have a great chance at actually doing something special.